John, we talk about strengths in this program. We teach people to identify their strengths. We teach them to apply those strengths. We teach them how to work with others around strengths. But this isn't rainbows and unicorns. It's not, magic and everything happens wonderful if you just pay attention to strengths. Strengths can actually have a shadow side sometime, and we teach about that too. And you've got some experience with that.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the greatest experiences I ever had as a teacher or a coach happened back in 2006 with a student who really went to the dark side of his strengths. And the dark side meaning, or the shadow side meaning, taking a strength of yours a little bit too far.
Okay.
And this young man was a 18-year-old senior at Culver. He was 6'3", 228 pounds, 5% body fat. He was a man-child. And he was playing lacrosse, and he was a co-captain of the lacrosse team. He was also co-captain of football, and he was an officer in one of our Culver Military Academy units.
Sounds like he had some social skills too.
Oh yeah, everybody loved him.
Yeah.
And what happened is he wasn't being his old self, and he was kind of being a little sarcastic behind the back of the head coach. He was going up to the just add water little freshman, and if you remember when you were in first grade and the sixth graders looked down at you how big they were, and that's about
the difference.
That's the difference that he was kind of approaching the younger players with. And so the head coach took him aside and said, we need to, Glenn, we need to really kind of look at what you're doing here. You're a captain. You have a responsibility. Too much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, okay, but really kind of giving the coach lip service. Well, he kept on doing it, and the coach then dismissed him.
Wow.
And I was on one of the other lacrosse fields. And
so he was a senior and captain of the team and kicked off.
Wow. And so I ended up finding out about that later in the afternoon. And I was kind of angry with this young man, was it Body by Fisher, Brain by Mattel? I don't know. But the thing is that what he did was something that I never expected him to do, and he kind of lost his opportunity to play anymore with the team. And so, I came home and I was talking to my wife about it at dinner, and later that night I received an email from Glenn, and Glenn it was his get out of jail email, and he said, Coach Yeager, I think I screwed up. Well, this was before Twitter. And so my response, though, on the email was 140 characters or less, and I said, yes, you did, with an exclamation point. And his replied email was that, can we meet tomorrow and chat? And I knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to get back on the team.
Now, you had coached the lacrosse team before.
I had been his head coach when he was a sophomore. And I think he was trying to play to my empathy strengths, my including and connecting, and that I'd understand.
So you were about to get put in the middle, trying to go talk to the other coach.
Yeah.
This is what you saw coming. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't want to play that game.
Yeah.
I really didn't. And so, anyways, but I decided later, well, I'm the adult here. Maybe we can make some lemonade out of this. So I met with him after school the next day, and Glenn came in and just really, this muscular kid with a very, kind of downtrodden, sad face, which adolescents can do at times, and sat down across from me. And so I said to him, first of all, I said, so what are your top, VIA strengths, values and action inventory strengths? And he goes, well, I remember my top two. And their leadership and humor and playfulness. So I said, well, Glenn, tell me about your leadership strengths. Tell me about your humor and playfulness strengths. Tell me how they come alive.
And could he tell stories about them?
And that's what he did. He told two wonderful stories. The mood totally changed. The pacing was very different. I was feeling more comfortable where I was a little bit angrier before. Glenn kind of opened up a little bit more. It was kind of good.
Yep.
But at the end of it, I know we had to cut to the chase and deal with what had happened. And so I said to him, Glenn, you just told me two wonderful stories about a time when you were at your best, when you were using your powers for good. So why are we having this meeting now?
What did he do?
He didn't say anything.
Really?
But then I got real quiet, and I looked at him. And I said, what's going on? What's really going on with you? And then I put my head down. And I put my head down because I didn't have anything else to say. Yeah. I didn't know how to really frame what he did. I could have said
You put the ball in his court.
That's right.
Yep.
I could have originally said, what were you thinking? And the typical response was, I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not going to get us anyplace. So I went to look up a little, and as I looked up, a tear came down his left cheek. And as it came down his left cheek, he began to sob uncontrollably. And at that time, and I just did this in my own mind, I didn't act this out, and I'm going, yeah, but I really didn't do that.
Because you thought maybe some insight.
Something was happening right here. And I believed at that moment that he got it. That Glenn realized at that moment that he had gone to the shadow side. He had taken his top strengths of being a leader, being a humorous, funny guy, and taken it too far.
Yeah. Did he get it? What did he do from there?
Well, you know, after he calmed down a little bit, and we began to talk, and he realized, and that's what he said. He said that this gets me what I need in my life, but it also takes it away from me. So I'm going to go and find the head coach and talk to him.
Yep.
And I didn't think there would be any way that the head coach is still not going to, buy this. I'm not sure. Well, he did. And that night, I received a phone call from the head coach who let him back on the team. And I could not believe this. This was just amazing. And I said, what did he say to you? And he goes, well, he was just so authentic. He was himself. He was kind of realizing what works and how he can be of benefit to himself and to the team. But he also realized what can cause problems with that too. Now, he couldn't be the actual official captain with the captaincy on the jersey for the rest of the season. Okay, but the bottom line is that he was the team leader.
Yep.
And then by being that team leader out of that, he went off to college, played football at Dickinson College, was a two-way all-star football player, and then ended up in the Marines, where he's in
but
flight
he's still
school.
using those strengths.
And still using those strengths today.
Absolutely.
I think I owe him royalties on that for telling this story so much. But for me, that was a moment that shifted for me and really crystallized the power of strengths, but the power of what happens when you go to the shadow side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.